Do you have favorite pieces? Favorite toys?
Me?
Sure.
You know, I'm not a collector. I don't like collecting.
Oh.
I just collect the collector.
You know what she says? She says, what are we going to do with all this junk when we have to get rid of it? She says, don't you ever die before I do and leave me with this junk.
That's a question that I'm going to ask since you brought it up. What is going to happen to all of this?
Well, I will give some of it to the studio, the Mickey Mouse collection. I will probably take the stuff to Toy Meets. I would rather plow it back amongst the collectors than put it in a museum because things suffer there, and I'd rather have other people acquire this stuff and have fun with it like I have.
Would you like to list a date for that? Because I'll have a line of people out at your front yard that will absolutely stagger your imagination.
Well, I had you...
No, don't you do
I had you in mind for all the line of locomotives.
No. Say, listen, are you retired from the illustrating business now?
Yes, I retired from the studio about 5 years ago, but I go back now and then, like I'm working there now as a consultant at WED on a new ride for General Motors in Florida. And that's the way I like it. I says, I'll go back to work from now and then, just so long they're not in consecutive days, because that's like going back to work. And maybe twice a week. And I teach a class, a drawing class, to the new young animators there. Try to pass on some of the old knowledge, I suppose.
Is that possible to pass it on?
It's...
or do people have to be born with this skill?
Well, you have to train it. Animation is a very exacting art, because you have to be an actor, you have to be an artist, you have to draw things from every conceivable position, you have to be somewhat of a mathematician, you know, you have to be an extrovert, too.
When you create a character, as you created Jiminy Cricket, how do you do that? I mean, how long did it take you to conceptualize? A cricket's not an easy thing to make lovable, you know?
No.
And you did that.
Now, most of the time, you take a tiger or a horse, you base your caricature on the real thing. But an insect isn't a very endearing character.
Who wants to get to know a cricket?
Have you ever seen a cricket? It's a cross between a cockroach and a grasshopper.
You know something? That's interesting you ask. I've never seen one. I've heard a lot, but I've never seen a cricket.
So Walt says, you're going to do the cricket. He's a little guy. So I start basing it on a real cricket. He says, it's too ugly. So, you know, the reversible legs and the feelers. And so I kept eliminating everything. And he said, now you're getting somewhere. The one he bought was the little cricket, who is actually a little man. There's nothing has on him that looks like an insect, except he has an egg-shaped head, and he has these little feelers on top when he takes his hat off. The rest of the time, oh, he doesn't have ears. Now that's a cricket because we call it a cricket, and he's only this high, right?
When you had to do these little mice for Cinderella that you held up here.
Yes.
Now, you know, you have Mickey Mouse, so you have to come up with a completely different mouse, you know? You can't...
Well, here's an old Mickey Mouse doll. You know, it's sort of an abstraction of a mouse. And these mice were more real. They were only 3 inches high, whereas Mickey, when you see him these days, he's about 4 feet high.
Oh, have you seen the telephone of Mickey that they have out now? Maybe you
That's
have...
very nice.
Do you have one in the house?
No, I don't. On the fence whether I'll get one or not. Maybe that's going too far with the chauvinism. I don't know.
You're still thinking about it.
But you see,
do you still believe
problem with Mickey is...
Do you still believe in Santa Claus?
About 2 days before Christmas.
All right, well, stand by this Christmas. Santa might surprise you, okay? What were you going to say?
Well, Mickey, when you see him from the front, he has the round ears. The problem with Mickey is that when you turn sideways, those ears are very thin. But you never saw Mickey, no matter where he turned, that didn't have round ears. Walt says, make him round no matter where he turns, because it's easier to draw. But on the mice in Cinderella, when I turned them, I had to draw them thin. They're more real, whereas Mickey is more of a design, and unless you look at him right from the front, and on film, of course, we always kept them round. So that, in actual matter of fact, they would be bowling balls, wouldn't they?
Yeah. One last thing here. By the time this is on the air, it'll be all over, but you guys are going on a big trip here pretty soon.
Yes, yes, a transcontinental trip, the Mickey Mouse Special. It's the 50th birthday. We leave Los Angeles, we go to Chicago for a film festival, we go to Washington for a White House party, Amy Carter and her friends, and we go to a film festival at Kennedy Center. And then we go to New York on the final day and dedicate a plaque where Mickey opened with Steamboat Willie 50 years before.
Did you ever think Mickey would take you all the places he's taken you to?
No, I had no idea.
Hasn't it been fun?
I thought I'd be a janitor at Disneyland.
You keep doing those kind of jokes, and I have a bulletin for you. We will be right back after these announcements from the Grizzly Flats Railroad here in suburban